So some of the distinctions that I just heard you make, number one is just sending people out to get sales training, which more or less boils down to some skills. That if you go out with a bag of new skills where you haven't put in any practice, you don't know how it all fits together, how it's integrated, into a package, into a whole toolkit, that's not going to give you the solution. So it's a totality approach. It's looking at various aspects, product knowledge, how people are buying, the process, what are the pain points, and how do we approach all of that in a way in which when you're approaching this sales conversation, it's actually facilitating the buying process. And as you start facilitating that buying process, you're guiding them through the whole landmine of objections and basically creating the distinction between the cost versus investment. And that's when people are actually getting ready. So it's a totality, and then you need an anchor person who reinforces this whole approach in the sales team to make these things happen. So from everything that you're sharing, Ramesh, what I'm hearing is that it's a totality approach that's going to make things work.
Right.
And there's never a good time to start. Maybe companies missed when the times were good to do this, but maybe now, when the times are low and bad and everything is so sort of tight, that if you start now, it's a question of it being a farming operation as opposed to hunting. So if you're approaching sales as a hunting operation, it's not going to work. As a farming operation, there are different components, different elements that you spoke about. So these elements, Ramesh, how does one go about learning them, and then second, implementing them in the company in a way in which they actually take root and results start to come, maybe a little slowly, and then it starts to accelerate so that you start building a very robust sales engine.
Right. What you're talking about, Rajesh, is changing habits.
Mm-hmm.
And changing habits doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
And it's not just the habits of the sales. If I'm running an organization, I want results now. I want results yesterday. If I'm in the financial department, I'm looking at my P&L. I'm saying, get me more sales.
Yeah.
But the process by which you go about getting the sales is not an overnight thing. It's depending on how complex is what you're selling.
Yeah.
So there is a certain level of expertise. We got to understand. You said something that I will spend a bit more time there,
Sure.
which is you got to know your customer's business better than they know their own business.
Mm-hmm.
That's today, if you don't do that and your competitors do, just think about the impact this would have in your everyday conversation with your clients.
Right.
You come to talk about a product, they're coming to uncover where you have certain areas of gaps, where you have certain needs. They understand your process sometimes better than you understand your own process, and you can add value. Now the buyer, or now the marketing team, or now the IT team, whoever functions you're calling on, start seeing you as, one second, this is a resource. So really you are becoming that external resource or external consultant or asset part of the whole process.
Right.
So sometimes you being better at knowing the business. So how do you make it happen? It's a culture change.
Okay.
So culture change happens with repetition, with impressions, happens with recognition and reward. You got to have a whole system. A whole system that encourages people to make the change, and not necessarily to simply go and get the targets. I can go get targets for you by giving discounts. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
I don't think so. So if you really want a radical change, if you really want to create a business that will be here to stay for years to come, that will be the talk of town, well, do nothing, see what will happen. Mm-hmm. If you stay the way you are, see what will happen. Yeah. If your competitors go ahead and start implementing this approach and you're not, how much more difficult it will be to catch up. Okay. So it's a farming process, Rajesh. There are different elements between, you got to make sure that you got the proper knowledge, industry knowledge, backgrounds, sales tools, different, from selling skills. You got to teach someone how to prospect. And today it's difficult because it's no longer cold calling is no longer working. You got to find a way to build relationships. You got to find ways to get introductions to the right level within an organization. You got to find ways to engage with people on social media to generate interest, generate leads that are, you're not going to, you're not a hunter, you're a farmer. You got to understand these changes in the economy and the fact that your competitors are already adding value to your customers and you're not. So when do you know when to take advantage? When do you know when to, let's say, reap the seeds that you have planted? So it's really, you got to have that whole mindset shift between training multiple skills and then really it's that sales coach, sales leader, and the sustainability. So in many occasions, it's having internal, let's say the word consultants, trainer, facilitators to even keep reinforcing that together with your sales team. And that's basically what we do at the Academy. This is part of something we call the sales engine. It's something that we've done several times with, bits and pieces here with clients. And let me tell you, when a client decides to put the whole thing together, it really gives them the magic formula to just skyrocket and be different and add value in the, and add value in that entire process and win and achieve what they want to achieve.